On today's video, I'm going to be answering a question I got from one of my subscribers, and it's also something that I think's really not been put out there a whole lot when it comes to this old reclaimed wood. Now, reclaimed lumber and wood from barns and old houses have gotten real popular in the past few years. But I think a lot of people started taking them down and making some real nice furniture out of them. But I think that some people really miss one of the points on it. And that is that when you take that wood off of these old houses and barns, you've got to get it dried. You can't just take it and use it for what you're wanting to without going through a process of drying. Because this old wood has been on the side of these barns and houses for a lot of times 100 or 150 years, and it's full of bugs. It's got odd moisture content where a lot of it's siding. And you really got to go through a really good process when you take it down to make sure that you properly dry it before you use it for furniture and put it in somebody's home. Now, what I like to do, the first thing when I bring the wood back to my place here that's been reclaimed off an old house or an old barn or whatever structure, is I like to take it back and go ahead and cut off any rot or any bad places out of the wood, get all the nails out, and put it up on stickers for air drying. I like to air dry it for a few months, because a lot of this wood has been on the side of barns and been getting beat down with rain for 50 or 100 years, and it really needs to get some good air drying to start the process before it goes into the kiln. And on your normal wood that's you get off these buildings, or mostly it's 2x4s or 1x4s or 1-inch lumber or what have you. Most of it's not nominal, most of it is true dimensions. Usually 2-3 months of air drying, especially in the summertime, will be sufficient to then go into the kiln to make sure that all the buds or the larva or the powder post beetle that's an oak is killed out. And the main thing you're trying to accomplish by doing this is just properly dry the wood, so when it's used for furniture, if you sell it to a cabinet maker, if you use it to make your own furniture, when you put it in the house, you ain't gonna have to worry about the wood cracking or the wood changing a whole lot due to the moisture content. And the main thing, you got to worry about bugs and looking underneath your dining table one day and seeing a pile of sawdust. Now, what I have here is I got 3 beams. This is red oak. This didn't come out of the barn that I got the wood I'm going to show you guys today. I picked these up off of a Craigslist. I check Craigslist every day, probably 20 times a day sometimes, for good finds on there. I call that a good find. That's when you get on Craigslist and there's something on there and it's a real good value and you can get it pretty cheap. These beams here, I think they're 4x6s. They're about 9 feet long and they're red oak. I got 5 of these off Craigslist, and the other 2 are walnut. I got those in my shop. I didn't bring those out yet. But I got 5 of them for $80. That's a really good deal. The guy said he's had them in his barn for the past 20 years drying. But anyways, I got these on the bottom here on top of pallets. And on top of the pallets, I got 2x4s to start my layer of stickers. And when you hear people talk about stickers, that's these little pieces of wood here that go between your boards, and it allows the air to move freely all the way around the lumber and around the timber for maximum drying. I like to put them every 2 feet. So for every layer there's 5, and your ideal board length is about 8 feet. Maybe 8 4 or 5 inches. And the thing about this barn wood is you have to piece a lot of it together, because some of your wood's just going to be 2 feet, maybe 4 feet long. Now, it's not going to be the full width, so you got to make sure that you allow for that and you got proper support underneath the boards. Now, the tools you need to do this are pretty simple, and most people already have them on hand. Measuring tape, a hammer, an old coffee can to collect all your nails, because there's going to be a lot of nails out of this wood and you don't want to leave them behind, a crowbar, a pair of sawhorses, and a good sharp axe. This is a piece of the red oak. There's a little bit of rod on this end and a bunch of nails, and sometimes it's better just to cut the ends off rather than spend all day trying to pull these nails out, because sometimes you'll never get them out. So come on past the nails and find the nearest defect, like this big knot right here. Come on the other side of it and just get rid of the waste here. As you can see, that's a very, very noticeable color on there. That is red oak. I hope the camera picks this up. But you've got your growth rings going this way. So this right here is the way the tree was growing, out this way. And these are the medullary rays that are shooting out. It's very noticeable for red oak and white oak. It's very easy to identify that kind of tree by those rays that are shooting out. Now this right here is this is a great board, because the growth rings are running at a 90-degree angle to the face of the board, which means this right here is quarter sawn, which is a very stable wood. It's the best way you can saw a log when you got it on the sawmill, is quarter sawed. So these are the roof trusses, or parts of them, that was holding up the tin on the barn. This one's poplar. This has got a very significant color here to the grain. And once you see it and get familiar with this, you'll never forget it on poplar. Most of the 2x4 trusses I've come across so far, most of them has been red oak. This is the first one I see now, poplar. And one good way to figure out something poplar or pine or something like that that's a softwood, a good way of knowing that when you feel it, is by how much it weighs. This is really light. A piece of oak is going to be a lot heavier than this. It's a lot more dense. Now poplar is a hardwood. Some people call it a softwood, but it's actually classified as a hardwood. It's still good material, and that shows you, and that's some real nice wood right there. That right there looks like it just came off the sawmill. Once you take a hand plane or run this through a planer and clean up all the wear and tear of the years here and this discoloration on the outside, as you can see, there's still good solid wood in there. Let's go finish this up for the day. Just putting a little anchor seal here on these walnut timbers that just got dropped off. If you follow us on Instagram, you probably saw these things on here a few hours ago. Had a local tree guy come by and drop them off to me. Didn't cost me a dime. As always, I anchor seal all my timber as soon as it comes in. It always prevents that in-checking that occurs. But I appreciate you watching. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. If you're new to this channel, you can subscribe to it. Videos like this is pretty much what I'm all about, on the kind of content that I put on my channel. And for those people still watching, you're going to know ahead of time that there's going to be a real good sawmill video, or I hope it's a real good video. We'll try our best at it on this channel tomorrow evening. So be sure to watch for that tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night. Probably more so tomorrow night. The editing for that's probably going to take a while. So I'm going to try to get a whole lot of footage and a lot of different angles of that sawmill while it's running. And to saw and to off-bear and to run my skid steer and to load logs, to do all that plus videos won't be a big undertaking. So bear with me. We'll get it going and see how it turns out.